Hello everyone, I'm Kaye here in Tennessee on my property. Welcome to my homestead. I live on a little over 9 acres if you're new to my channel, and I am developing various gardens around the areas that can be developed that are not solid rock or on a steep hill. So today I want to show you my garden, where it is on May 15th. There's a lot more to be done. You know, you're off to the races when you have seasonal gardening. I started out as a gardener. I started gardening 6 months before I started my channel 13 years ago. So I still consider myself a late bloomer gardener. But I was a year-round gardener in California, and here it's like everyone else mostly that watches my channel. You have a season, and there is so much you have to do to get ready for the gardening season. You know, dealing with weather, tornadoes, wind, rain, floods, and finally you get into the gardens to get them tilled and eventually get them planted. But I'm close, I'm very close, and I want to show you where I am today. Normally we start up near the house, and today I'm halfway down the hill to the mailbox, and we're going to go even farther so I can give you an overview of where we're going to go. But basically we have the lower garden, we have the grapevines, which I call my vineyard, we have the meadow, which is beautiful, we have the flower garden, which is going to be flowers and tomatoes and cushaw squash this year, and we have the elderberries, and of course we have the terraces, and the orchard over here, the orchard over there, the walnut trees over there, and beside the house we have the side garden, and behind the house now we have the memorial garden, and on the driveway we have my new driveway garden. So it's a lot to see in a few minutes, so I'm just going to take you on a very quick tour. Stay with me. Well, when I looked out the window at 4:30, it was sunny, and I thought, let's do this because the meadow looks so fantastic in the sun, but now we have a cloud cover. At any rate, we're going to show you around. So I usually am up there, but today I'm almost at the top of my driveway and the road. And behind me, you'll be able to see the vineyard. Right there, we spent 4.5 hours weeding, tying up the vines, and putting down some more wood chips around where we pulled out all the knee-high weeds. And over here I have my new heirloom apple trees, where I found this caterpillar the other day, which I captured and put into a container, and it turned into a cocoon, so I can't wait to share that with you. And over there, you'll see the brown. That just got tilled today. The lower garden is usually where I plant corn, but I'm not planting corn this year. I'm giving myself a little bit of a break. And then the elderberries are right here. And this year we put 8-foot T-posts around and several strands of 100-pound fishing line. It doesn't even have a door, it's just an opening on the uphill side, and so far the deer are not going in there. They love those tender shoots, and that's why I had to move my aronia berry bushes over there in between the new heirloom apple trees, and I had to wrap them with fishing line and trellises also. So the willow tree I had featured in one of my videos is doing pretty well. It's right there, and the meadow is, I hope you can see the little bit of yellow. You could see it better if the sun was shining. It's right up there. The flower garden is above that. The terraces are over there. The orchard is over there. And then I have a smaller orchard of trees that are just scattered around. I did that when I first came, and that was not a good idea. Oh, by the way, if you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. Click that bell for notifications, scroll down and click all, so you won't miss an episode. I share videos about, in the winter, one-pot meals, food preservation. Of course, during the season, it's all about getting the garden going, and also health, wellness, and sustainability. So all those things I cover, so you don't want to miss an episode. This willow tree was a tiny sprout that Daryl found for me when we were looking for me a house. And considering that it was doing really well up by the cistern where it's very wet, and I moved it down here and didn't have it protected, and the deer almost killed it. You see the damage on the trunk there. That's what they do. There's a foot-long swath that they just ripped, but seems to be doing pretty well. Here's the elderberries. I want to say that's 22 by 14, something like that. The weeds inside it just got weed whacked yesterday, so it looks nice. And you can see the newer plants as opposed to the older plants. Elderberry puts up tons of shoots. And I've got 3 right in the doorway here. So I've got a doorway right here, but the deer have not gone in here as far as I know. I have had that wilt that gets on elderberries, and that's troubling. That looks like some berries starting over there, so I'll keep you posted on that. This is the 5,000 square foot garden. Right now I have the insectiary, which is what I call where I plant the flowers for the pollinators. Unfortunately, I didn't get it weeded in time, and it's a ton of zinnias coming out of a carpet of hairy crabgrass. I planted the really big sunflowers, and of course deer love sunflowers, so I have had to put sunflowers behind hot wire. Otherwise you just I don't have any luck. Over there I've got some cucumbers growing on the arched trellis. That is the rare Sheffield mum with anise hyssop behind it. And there's my garlic, which I'll harvest probably in late June. Just depends. And then over here I have 33 tomatoes, and under that cover over there I have cabbages because there's so much bug pressure for cabbages. So there's a lot still to do, but at least this will be my sweet potato bed, and I always do really well with sweet potatoes. So they will go right in the middle of that square. And down here I have another, I think there's about 17 tomatoes on this cattle panel trellis. I've got some onions in there and cucumbers, but like I said, the cucumbers just aren't doing well. Here are the new Southern heirloom apple trees, except for that one crab apple. I picked that up at Lowe's. That one's right there. And there are 3 aronia berry bushes. For the very first time, I may actually have some berries. I saw something on this one. Yeah. That's a very rare sight. This whole area down here are violets. Unfortunately, there's so many they get mowed, but the violets go all the way to the driveway over there. They're just, I guess they just love water because this is the wettest area. This is where all the water from the property goes down through that culvert and down to the river. We planted comfrey beside each of the apple trees. This is called cedar rust, and it's almost impossible not to have on apple trees in the south, especially when you live close to the cedars of Lebanon. Almost all of the cover crop got cut down here. But here's a little pea. So pretty. It almost looks like the peas that I planted last year. But it's over here by this wild bergamot bush that came back. I planted this last year as well as that one. There are the tomatoes, a few peas, and onions, a few cucumbers. Okay, on this side of the archway, by the way, along the archway, I've got a collection of snow peas and anise hyssop and sweet Annie and I don't know what else, weeds. Then I've got the big volunteer sunflower. On the other side of it, I have 4 rows of peppers. They just got planted a couple of days ago. And this row here in the front is okra. I don't see anything coming up yet, but you know, you got to grow okra in. That's my second planting, and you've got to grow okra if you're in the south. So over here I have my first orchard, which is a little persimmon tree up there that's struggling. 3 crepe myrtles behind that, and a redbud tree. Just planted some yellow, purple and yellow irises around a circle around that. That's a pear tree. This is an apple tree. No fruit that I've seen. It does have cedar rust. And this is the pear tree that I'm very hopeful. Look at these gorgeous pears. This will be a first if I have pears this year. And I hope so. They're so pretty. Before it was absolutely loaded. So gorgeous. Okay, so here is the meadow. But see my short yesterday, it looked a lot prettier and there was a butterfly. But this pink stuff is called widow's cross. It is a succulent that grows on top of rock. It grows on top of the rock in the spring. And then once it starts getting hot, it dies back because it is a succulent, very shallow root structure. But it is so gorgeous with all of these. Oh, there's the butterfly. And that is a Gulf fritillary, sometimes mistaken for a monarch. But I used to raise monarchs, and I can assure you it's not that. I've got common yarrow here, and I have a yarrow tincture video if you want to check that out. This is all Coreopsis, the yellow, and I did plant seeds a couple of years ago. I had quite a few last year, and I've probably got 4 or 5 times as much this year. So that's something to keep in mind if you plant Coreopsis. Here's some more plants coming up, and then what I do is I mark them so the mower doesn't run over them. Widow's cross, if you look at it up close, you'll see it's a cross. I think it's usually 3, maybe 4. So pretty. And a lot more yarrow over there. This is 10 times more than I had last year. Let's walk over and catch the grapevines. So yesterday, the crabgrass was all down the middle, and the weeds on either side were like knee-high. And we filled the gorilla cart 6 times, and he took that off to the forest. It's so nice to have a forest. You can just dump all your weeds. The other option is to burn them, but that's a problem too. Now this is where the grapes are right now. We've just started getting these fuzzy little things. Those will become the clusters of grapes, we hope. I've had a lot of trouble growing grapes here. I get anthracnose, which is a fungal disease, and you can treat them with copper, which is supposed to be safe for organic gardening. I put a ton of manure in here year before last, and that's where a lot of the weeds came from actually, but it really helped the plants. Okay, moving up. Next is the flower garden. Oh, by the way, if you have this growing in your yard, this is wild lettuce, and I have a wild lettuce tincture video, 2 of them actually. I had so much of this last year, it was incredible. I just wanted to give you a look at the meadow from the uphill looking downhill. It's so beautiful. And I will have late boneset. I did a video on late boneset and giant ironweed. And there will be late boneset coming up because I saw the plants over there. Hopefully ironweed as well. Okay, so over here this looks very dry, but I guarantee you an inch down is very moist. I reset these zinnias from the lower garden insectiary. I just dug them up and brought them up here and put them in. They were all limp in the afternoon, and the next morning they were standing up tall. This is my Mexican sunflower. Great thing to grow. Deer don't like it. You'll notice I don't have any hot wire around this garden this year because I used to grow sunflowers and roselle here, and the deer love those. They don't care so much for tomatoes. They don't like Mexican sunflower, even though they love sunflower. They don't love zinnias, and so they don't love marigolds. I've got those seeded all around. We dug a trench. I didn't do it, Randy did, on this from that point down that way and from that point down that way, so that hopefully when we get the big rains, all of the soil won't wash off down to the right. Okay, over there's the cistern. I have a whole playlist on the challenges I've had with my cistern. I have rain capture here coming off the roof. 1 inch of rain on the roof puts 1,000 gallons in that building right there. But it leaks, and I haven't been able to get it fixed. This is the first year we've had netting around this whole area. I did have my tomato terraces here. I grew tomatoes on a string on 2 terraces up there for 4 years, three or 4 years. It all came down this year, and I'm doing things differently. I've got more widow's cross here, and look what I've got over here. This is the fabulous lacy phacelia, and all that was here were 10 lavender plants, and now you can't even see the lavender for all the weeds because the weeds shot up. This is the new, behind the fence is the new grapevine area. 3 of them look great. 1 of them is not doing that well. Over here we moved 16 hazelnuts, and it looks like we've got about 12 that look really good, that made the transition. We moved all those pawpaw trees, 2 of which look pretty good. Okay, here we are at the raised bed garden, and I've done many videos on the development of these raised beds, the rebooting of them, and the rebuilding of them. And so these 2 6x8 beds are full of brassicas. Wait, 3 of them, sorry, 3 are. And I've got gorgeous kale, and cabbages are coming on, and I've been really fortunate not to have all the bugs. I've got 2 beds on this side that are strawberries. 1 has been weeded, the other one has not. This will have netting that comes this way and this way, and I'm gonna have a big gate right here. So it's gonna be a real adjustment to remember that we have to walk all the way around this to get in, unless we put in another gate down below, which is possible. But this bed behind me, right here, there's got to be at least 200, maybe more, tomatoes growing right there. Yeah, and it's all coming out because they're the little tiny cherry tomatoes that take forever to pick, and it's just it's just not worth it, and I need space to plant some more herbs. So that's coming out, and I may keep 2. The one at the end down here is onions and potatoes, volunteer potatoes, because I grew potatoes there last season. And the one on the far end is the asparagus. And if you've been following my posts page, you know that I've been eating asparagus every other night, for sure. I ate asparagus for breakfast, so it's just been fantastic. Can't say enough about growing asparagus. If you love asparagus, get started, because it takes 3 years, okay? You need to put it in a permanent place in a bed of its own. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to take this little part of my garden and put it in there. No, the grass will kill it. So it has to be segregated. So we're going to take a walk over here, and I want to show you these fantastic reticulata irises that were gifted to me by my friend Gina. Just a note about anise hyssop. It's absolutely fantastic to have in the garden. It smells divine. The little flowers just burst with flavor in your mouth, but it does reseed everywhere. Look at all this. All of these tomatoes. It's just a shame they have to go. Last year I thought, oh, I'm going to keep them. Boy, was that a mistake. So you can see here, this is what you deal with here, even in a raised bed. And last year I paid to have all the dirt taken out, sifted, and we put in the liner, the weed liner, and put the dirt back in, planted the strawberries new last year. And look at this. This is this year. This is lady's thumb. And lady's thumb is medicinal, and I do have a lady's thumb video, but it's got to come out of the strawberry bed. So that has to be done tomorrow. This one is looking very good. Just needs a little rain now. You know, it's when they start living together with the weeds and you pull the weeds out, it's kind of a shock, even though the weeds are stealing the nutrients in the water. They do kind of grow up together. You know what I mean? So look how beautiful. I am so stunned. I can't get over this. And there's a volunteer potato right in there. Down here, another one, the cilantro, kale, cabbages. And I'm hoping by using the shade cloth, I can just keep this through the summer, if I can keep it watered. Oh, I forgot to mention the blueberries. Look at these blueberries. This bush has hardly any, and I don't know why. I don't remember if it's newer. I just don't remember. But these other bushes, look at this. Just crazy loaded. All up in there. And the closer you get to the tree, the less berries, because this maple tree has a tendency to suck all the water. Look at this hibiscus. I'll put the name on the screen because I can't remember it right off the bat, but it has dinner plate size red flowers, and it dies all the way back to nothing, just like the fig tree. Dies all the way back, and by the time you get almost to your first frost, you haven't gotten a fig because it's spent the whole summer growing. I've got tremendous fruit drop off of the peach trees, and I'm just praying I get peaches. There's still a lot on the trees, so I'm hopeful. This got attacked by black leaf spot, if you've ever had that. I have treated this. We'll see if it makes it. This is an Asian pear. Look at this reticulata. And I'm pretty sure this is corn salad. This is a weed, but it grows up through this reticulata. She just gave me a small amount, and it has quadrupled, at least maybe 6 times as much. And here's BJ. Hi, BJ. Hi. Where you been? This is the tree I can't think of the name of. Mulberries. Yeah, there you go. Mulberry tree is looking okay. I had to, because of deer and no fence, I had to keep it kind of encapsulated in this cage for a long time. So all these branches just grew up real tight together, and it needs something. Look at this pawpaw tree. I can't get over it. It's never looked like that because the deer could get in here and eat it. This was transplanted. It may make it. I don't know. That's an aronia berry. and it was eaten down before. This was a pawpaw, but that didn't make it. This one was transplanted. Oops. This is not a hazelnut. That's a weed. And it looks like there is maybe a little piece of the hazelnut underneath that. It's hard to pull that out with your hands. This one didn't make it. That's just a little pea. Got a couple here. This looks, I don't know, broken. Yeah, this is broken. That's troubling. These are all the hazelnuts. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oh goodness, 8, 9. There's only like 9 that may make it. But here are the 2 peach trees. And I see yellowing leaves and a lot, oh my goodness, there's just 1,000 fruit on the ground, so fingers crossed. The best crop I have growing over here is dock, which is a weed, and it has a very long taproot, and I do have a curly dock, yellow dock video. You can make a tincture from the root, but I have too much. I don't want all that. This row has struggled. This was roselle and eggplant, but the potatoes did fantastic. Remember when I covered these? When I first planted them, I covered them, and they look fantastic. I'm going to show you from the other side. I see I have some Johnson grass in there. I've got a lot of clammy, it's called clammy ground cherry. That's clammy ground cherry. But interestingly, this is a relative, and it's a tomatillo. And when I discovered that today, I put a cage around that, and I'm going to put a cage around this. I did seed and grow tomatillo on this terrace. It didn't do that well, but it came back. So these potatoes look fantastic. And I don't know if I can get far enough back so you can see. But 2 rows, I think there were, what, 6 or 7 varieties? At least 5. And those are the grapes. And then I've got a few onions in there with all those weeds. And up here, this has struggled. This was cranberry hibiscus in this row. This is well, that's what the leaf looks like. It's bug eaten. This looks better. Hasn't been so bug eaten, but it hasn't grown either. So got a whole row of those. I'll put the name on the screen. Just can't keep everything in my head. And then I've got 3 rows of bush beans here. And these look pretty good. Those look pretty good. And this one on this side, I don't even see anything. So, not too happy about that. Hey, Spot. 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 Can you say hi? Can you say hi? This is the new driveway garden. I made some mistakes on here. I should have put down weed cloth underneath the 2 inches of mulch here. This is a dahlia I had planted before, but I thought the deer ate it. I didn't know, and it came up through in the path. So I've just got it protected right now. This was a piece of wood from one of my trees. It had a fabulous mushroom on it. This is scarlet bee balm over here. This is the native passion fruit called maypop, and I thought I would just keep 2 or 3 of them and maybe go over an arch here just so that I could actually try the fruit. This is a beautiful moth mullein. These are lilac bushes. This is more of that, more of that, more of that. This is actually a weed, but it's really cool and it's a great pollinator. Oh, I have way too much maypop up here. What kind of berry plant is that? It's not a raspberry, it's the other one. Starts with a B. I've got coneflower, rare Sheffield mum, rosemary, coneflower, geraniums, and this is all the Shasta daisy. I've got these pretty little flowers. I've got my friend Sharon's garlic chives, anise hyssop, Shasta daisy, and this was all a big mound and it's being moved back. Some of it will go down and hopefully suppress some of the weeds down here. This is my, can you even see me over there? Let me move the camera. Psst. Spot. Spot. Hey, hey, hey. I know. This is valerian. So is that. Both of which I got from Sharon in Delaware, Sharon's Natural Gardens. And last night the deer lopped this one off. It's supposed to look like that. It wasn't quite as tall. This is my orange Thai pepper that spent the winter in the garage. Didn't have one leaf on it. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to go through that again. It's going out and it's going to make it or not. So it's out here so I can keep an eye on it. Some of these plants still need to be planted. Anise hyssop, lots of lavender. Got German chamomile, angel wings. Angel wings is going over to the other garden though. I keep my citrus and figs in pots on this back deck here. It's not terribly scenic, but it's just the way it goes. So this just got done today. The covering in front of the HVACs. I was looking at these polyvinyl plastic things at Lowe's and I just thought, ugh. And Randy had the suggestion to use slab from a cedar mill. They charge $2 a piece for each piece. I'm going to hang pots from the posts or cut them off, one or the other. The side garden has been completely refenced and the cedar is set in concrete, which gives a lot more structure to support actually for the T-posts. By the end of the year, the T-posts are going every which way because the ground shifts all the time. As you know, I had a ditch put in here, drainage ditch for all the rains we had, and I had a big berm here which was helping some, but he took all the dirt from the berm and added it to what I had over here, so it's taken a little bit of time to remediate this soil, and it just got tilled today and it's ready for planting. So this is where the memorial garden for my mother and my sister is going to be. I'm developing it now. We've managed to get most of the poison ivy out of there and the plants planted and the archway put in. The rose will grow over the arch, and my niece, my sister's daughter, wanted me to plant a lavender rose for my sister. That was her favorite color, and so I ordered that, and that's going to go on this side and they'll grow together. Wouldn't that be nice? Mother and daughter growing together. So representative. You'll walk in here, and I was even thinking it'd be really cool to have a wedding here if I ever get it looking really nice, you know, just a little backyard wedding, you know. This will all be covered with, probably get a load of cedar wood chips, you know, and just cover all this. But still, there's the whole matter of weed cloth because the weeds are so bad. But we'll have the other rows here. It'll grow together. And this is the rose that Jamie gave me. It's doing great after had to move it over a foot. And lilacs, rhododendron, and this looks like it needs water. This is camellia, and all these others. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 of the Rose of Sharon hibiscus from my friend Angie. And then over in the corner, I'm going to put a sitting area with an umbrella or something, shade cloth, something. And of course, you won't see the paper. You'll just see a nice walkway there, and that's the plan. Well, we didn't go see the walnut trees, but we'll save that for another video. I got 3 walnut trees. They're 4 years old now, and they're coming along. Cistern's down there, but that's kind of an on-hold project. So I hope you enjoyed this tour. Just for point of reference for new people, I have about 5 or 6 acres of forest that surround a sliver on this side, but up there and over there, you know, almost down to the road. So it's nice, and it's really great after spending 40 years in the really big cities. I was in DC, lived right in South Central DC, right 3 blocks south of the Air and Space Museum. Very crowded, very noisy, a lot of sirens. And right out from my little balcony was the, I don't remember the number now, but it was that South Side freeway. It was like a freeway right there. You know, you could almost jump on it. No. But yeah, and then of course Manhattan, 7 years in Manhattan, you know how noisy that could be. You can imagine if you haven't been there. And then of course LA, you know, right in the center. Got out there were LA riots, Malibu fires, you know, all of that, and just was so fortunate to get to move into Pacific Palisades. And that's all been destroyed. Almost all has been destroyed. So it's been quite a journey, you know, during these 13 years. I can't help but reflect on all of that. Every time I walk out, I just go, gosh, you know, even though I have to watch out for snakes, even though I have wolf spiders, I don't mind wolf spiders. You know, I just don't want to sit down on one by accident, but they don't bother me, and snakes bother me. Ticks, mosquitoes, and of course, poison ivy. Even with all that, you know, just having, at this point in my life, having some peace and quiet is really nice. I hope you enjoyed this little tour, and if you'd like to see more, please leave me a comment below. If you'd like to see more videos about my recent viral video on food additives, leave me a comment below. Welcome to all my new subscribers from that video. And I made 2 other videos, health related, right after that, so you could go back and check those out. And so that's where things stand in terms of the garden in the spring, and I look forward to uploading lots of short videos. Don't forget to watch my shorts, because I grab a little piece of action. You know, I love to share bugs and butterflies and all of that stuff. So thanks so much for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.